what are the sort of main sort of measurement maturity levels or sources of maturity? So maybe it's like just opinion led at the beginning and just, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just trusting somebody else, all the way through to something that's like super sophisticated, biggest companies in the world, just like top of the game.
The only champagne I know the name of, other than the ones I've heard in rap songs.
They've actually trademarked the orange.
Woo! Oh, cheers. Yeah, I write a lot of blog posts on for Recast, the attribution partner. You talked to Mike on a previous episode of the podcast. But yeah, the everyone started to look like, okay, well, how did we measure things in the past before we had all this fantastic digital tracking? So marketing mix modeling is one of them. And that's it has its positives and negatives, which we can talk a bit more about. A lot of people then went down I would say it was like a growth hacky kind of mindset, and they're just trying to like get back what they lost. So they're like, how do we kind of hack SK ad network, and how do we do fingerprinting, and how do we like kind of like find a way to do server-side tracking, like how do we associate these people even though it's kind of dodgy and against the rules. I think a lot of people have gone down that route, but I think that's a bad path, because you're in an arms race against one of the richest companies in the world who will win eventually. So I think it's only a short-term game that you can play. And then I think some people went back to surveys. We did a blog post with Fairing, that used to be called Inquire Labs, about how you can kind of use checkout surveys to do this attribution, but then kind of tie that into a marketing mix model to calibrate it as well, which I think opened a lot of eyes. And then I think the other big bucket is testing, right? So doing like geo tests, doing like kind of switch on, switch off tests. So like measured.com is I think like the leader in that space, or kind of got on that quite early, and were I'm sure their investors were incredibly happy when they when all of this happened. I think people are kind of going back to the old school. Actually, some people have just regressed entirely and just stopped measuring and focus on creative instead, and they kind of run social ads like TV campaigns now. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend that, but that is also a valid option. Like plenty of successful companies have grown without using sophisticated measurement.